Last year was a great year if you're a cyber criminal, because you managed to extort so much money from ransomware. Then this is going to be your preferred method of income this year as well. So my prediction for 2017 for financial gain, if you're a cyber criminal, is going to be continue to deploy your ransomware payloads and attack the small businesses, because that was where you got most of your money from last year. So we're going to see a rise in targeted attacks to small businesses. Will small businesses pay the ransom? That's the biggest question. Some do, some don't. I guess some see it as a last resort, because the first thing small businesses need to do is back up their files, so at least they've got something to restore. But the biggest challenge that face small businesses is, when was the last time you did a restore of your entire data? Now, not just so people may have restored 1 or 2 files or tried to recover an email, but actually, if everything's gone, how do you actually start doing a restore in the first place? And when was the last time you did a full DR plan, DR recovery, to actually recover all those files? So yeah, small businesses will be under attack more this year, and cyber criminals will find more ways to exploit you. So last year it was all about clicking on links and downloading files. Well, this year we might see where there's more vulnerabilities, or there's more attacks coming from people just browsing websites, so known as drive-by attacks, where even just visiting a website could exploit something in your browser or something on your operating system, which will allow cyber criminals then to deploy their ransomware and then attack your systems, and they're in. So then it's up to you as a business whether you pay, whether you can restore, and if you can't restore, do you pay? Because there's no guarantee actually that even if you do manage to, even if you do pay the ransom, they're going to give you the encryption key. I also think that in 2017 we're going to see a rise in hacktivism. Now, it's quite a broad term, so my prediction is more around the state-sponsored attacks. So we've already seen, or the news has already reported, state-sponsored attacks by Russia trying to undermine or influence the result of the US elections. How much of that is vaporware, we don't really know, but we will definitely see state-sponsored attacks on other countries trying to undermine either physical infrastructure, such as gas, water, electric, telecommunications, or influence media in some way. Fake news is a term that's used at the moment, where we're seeing newts being generated that seems to be genuine and then backed up by genuine accounts, but actually it's all fake. So a lot of this is coming from states-sponsored attacks. So linked with infrastructure attacks are the proliferation of the Internet of Things, and how the vulnerabilities that are inherent in IoT will see a rise in attacks from Internet of Things devices this year. So, for instance, Internet of Things, every system has vulnerabilities that are dormant or undiscovered in operating systems, in software. Now, Internet of Things, there's still an operating system and there's still software running Internet of Things. Now, with conventional systems, we have regular patching routines and we discover vulnerabilities that then are patched by the vendor. The problem with Internet of Things is, how do you patch millions, if not billions, of devices that are out there that can be connected to the internet at some stage, or sometimes don't even only connect to the internet every now and again. Now, so these Internet of Things are being targeted by cyber criminals because they know there are vulnerabilities dormant within these systems, and with the fact that there's been millions of them, can launch attacks against a particular website or company. Now, what we saw last year was routers and CCTV cameras being used for denial of service. So they were exploited and then used as part of a massive botnet to launch attacks against big websites. I think the BBC came under attack, and a security researcher came under attack from botnets, all coming from Internet of Things. So yes, we'll see this happening again this year. We'll see exploits happening against particular Internet of Things devices, so whether it's against the home, so they effectively could become a target for cyber criminals who will utilize the data that you're producing, and they may then take that data and utilize it for their own devices. So they might sell that data on without you even knowing, or they may take over your we spoke about ransomware earlier. So why couldn't a cyber criminal take over your heating system and say, unless you pay us some money, I'm going to turn your heating off, or I'm going to turn it on? And they could control your heating without effectively you knowing it, or because you have the Internet of Things devices sat there connected to the internet. So we'll see new threats happening this year around Internet of Things that potentially we're only just sort of understanding.